And we are actually an international organization. We have recently have chapters in Great Britain, and there are relationships forming with refuseniks in Israel. So the Veterans for Peace movement is an international movement, and it's growing. Now, I'm going to share our statement of purpose before we start. And my name is Eric, and I have the honor of serving as coordinator of the Smedley Butler Brigade. Yay. Veterans for Peace, statement of purpose. We, having dutifully served our nation, do hereby affirm our greater responsibility to serve the cause of world peace. To this end, we will work with others towards increasing the public awareness of the costs of war, to restrain our government from intervening overtly and covertly in the internal affairs of other nations, to end the arms race and reduce and eventually eliminate nuclear weapons, to seek justice for veterans and all victims of war, to abolish war as an instrument of national policy. Yes. To achieve these goals, members of Veterans for Peace pledge to use nonviolent means and to maintain an organization that is both democratic and open, with the understanding that all members are trusted to act in the best interests of the group for the larger purposes of world peace. That is our mission statement. Severin Bruin.
I want to talk about how our government produces war crimes. And then I'll talk about what we must find in our hearts today. On the first point, the United States is a superpower on a scale not seen since the days of the Roman Empire. The U.S. has close to 1,000 military bases in nations around the world. The U.S. has invaded 70 countries since it began in 1776. Since 1945, we've invaded a total of 50 countries. War crimes are violations of the laws of war and written into the signing of the Hague Conventions. And these crimes include, and I quote, the summary execution of captured enemy combat, the mistreatment of prisoners during interrogation, and the use of violence against civilian non-combatants, unquote. A principle of command responsibility could make high-ranking officials within the federal government guilty of war crimes committed.
Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. Year. She was born into a family of 1,200 mothers from a diversity of cultures and languages, whose primary purpose was to abolish war making. They began at The Hague during World War I, the war to end all wars. WILF, as she is known, demanded a voice in the decision-making that would prevent future wars of mass destruction and human suffering from happening. She had a strong influence on the League of Nations, the Kellogg-Briand Pact, and the Geneva Convention, creating rules of war to bring some sense of sanity to the whole dirty business.
Give him a house, I want to thank everybody for being here on this very solemn day. I want to give everybody a little background on myself first. My name's Travis, and I served in the 502nd Infantry for 2 tours in Iraq. During my first deployment in 2005 and 2006, my company lost 4 soldiers killed in action. Private First Class Angelo A. Zawaida, Staff Sergeant Santiago M. Paso, Staff Sergeant Mario J. Biev, and Specialist Paul A. Beyer. We also lost 2 soldiers to self-inflicted wounds, Specialist Adam R. Shepard and Specialist Alan J. Knopp. On April 8th of this year, Massachusetts suffered its latest casualty in the war on Afghanistan. Corporal John M. Dawson was killed when an Afghan Army soldier opened fire on in an inside attack.
They have a silence that speaks for them at night and when the clock counts. They say, "We were young, we have died, remember us." They say, "We have done what we could, but until it is finished, it is not done." They say, "We have given our lives, but until it is finished, no one can know what our lives have gave." They say, "Our deaths are not ours, they are yours. They will mean what you make them." They say, "Whether our lives and our deaths were for peace and a new hope or for nothing, we cannot say. It is for you who must say." They say, "We leave you our deaths, give them their meaning. We were young," they say, "we have died. Remember us."
And we're going to be reading names of the fallen Massachusetts veterans. And we are going to ask for volunteers to help us drop flowers into the water. So many of you that have been here before, please get to the front of the line and show the folks that haven't been here before. This is our flower ceremony, and it's very meaningful, and thank you for joining us.
Shea, U.S. Army, Amesbury. Master Sergeant Sean Simmons, U.S. Army, Hope Mills, North Carolina, native of Ashland. Sergeant Charles Caldwell, U.S. Army, National Guard, Attleboro. Lance Corporal Travis Desiato, United States Marine Corps, Bedford. PFC John Hart, U.S. Army, Bedford. PFC Kenneth Iwazinski, U.S. Army, Belchertown. Staff Sergeant Gregory Anthony Wright, U.S. Army, Boston.
Team Pembroke, Mass. First Lieutenant Brian McPhillips, U.S. Marines, Pembroke, Mass. Glenn R. Allison
Will be placed out into the bay in remembrance of all the civilians who have died and been maimed and displaced throughout our wars, particularly those that we are involved with now. I'd like to, in all sincerity, thank everyone for coming out, and remembering those who have left this plane for the next. I read a thing one time where in France, after World War I, the American went and visited Flanders Field. And the Frenchman, and he said, "Wow, look at all." The American said, "Wow, look at all the dead." And the Frenchman said, "Yes, they're the lucky ones. The rest of us have to live with this."
Thank you. For all those who seek God, may God go with you. For all those who embrace life, may life return your affections. And for all those who seek a right path, all of us, may the way be found and the courage to take it step by step. Amen.
Amen.